Welcome to episode 59 of Daily Flip. I want to give you a rundown of what I've been up to today and actually this week. I was at the auction this past Friday. If you watched the last episode, you saw that my front line, which will give it a quick scan, was getting a little bare, and it actually still is, but we've got a few more things to come behind it to fill some space. I'm going to give you a rundown of some vehicles I bought. I actually bought 8 vehicles on Friday. I've got a couple more that are in process that are a little closer to the front line, one of which is this Jeep Wrangler here. You can maybe see the smoke coming up out of the back of it. It's actually running right now. I just detailed the engine, put some degreaser up there. So I think that's the last thing I have to do other than actually I'll show you. I've got some wire to put back together. This is when we thought we had a computer issue. And you may still see some smoke burning off. If you look, actually let me see if I can do this one-handed. Right over there, in that back corner, is the computer right in the center of the screen. That's about $800 to $1,000 if you have to replace it. I bought a whole new vehicle just to test to make sure that was the problem, and it was. So I'll show you that vehicle in a minute that I used to test it. If you can see in the back of the engine, there's a lot of wire that's just all unspooled right there in the center of the screen. I've got to go over that with black tape and put it back together. We had it all apart because we were testing to see if there was any wiring issues before we went and bought a computer. So instead of buying the computer, I actually bought the Wrangler right over there. If you can see that black one, that's an identical year, make, model. So the computer was going to be the same. It's a plug and play type thing. You don't always have to program them. With the Jeeps, plugged it up, vehicle is perfect. So I know that's my problem. Actually, for now, I'm leaving that computer in this Jeep. I'm gonna go and put it up for sale and buy a new computer for that Jeep if this one sells first. If this one doesn't sell and I still have both of them, I'll swap this computer back, put the new computer in this Jeep, and I'll be good to go. The mileage is stored in the cluster itself, so that wouldn't affect the saleability, if that's a word, of this particular Wrangler. So this is one that's gonna be good to go tomorrow. I'm waiting on the engine to dry, so I'm leaving it running. After I degrease the engine, spray it off with water. You gotta be careful not to get direct shots into the electrical components of some of the sensors. But once it dries, I'm going to go and put the black tape around that wiring, get it all put back together nice and neat. Maybe put some wire loom over it in some areas, and I'll be good to go there. But some of the new vehicles, I'll just give you a quick rundown of what I bought. I don't remember prices right off because it's been 5 or 6 days, so I'll give you a quick idea of what I got. This here is a 2007 Chevrolet Avalanche. Mileage on it, I think, is like actually high, it's 184, but I got a pretty good price on it. This is something I'll be able to sell for under 10, like probably under 8. So this will be a lot of vehicle for the money, even though it's got higher mileage. It's the LTZ, so it's nice leather, heated seats, all that good stuff. This here is and my wires are getting twisted up as I'm moving my camera. This is a 2007 Nissan Pathfinder. It appears to be in good shape, runs out, drives well. It's already ready to pass emissions inspection here in North Carolina, so that's a plus. It's leather, navigation, third row, so it should be a pretty easy seller. This here is a 2005 BMW Z4, if I can get myself out of the camera. It's in pretty good shape. The only issue that I'm going to have to deal with so far, or that I know of, is this convertible top. There's a hydraulic motor that actually sits back here. I don't think it's working, so I got to take that apart, see what's going on. Otherwise, my only other thing that I know of that I've got to work on, which should be pretty simple, is my bumper here. Actually is detached. I'm gonna have to get some kind of a glue or a zip tie of some sort, attach that back where it's supposed to be. Should be pretty simple. Otherwise, it's pretty clean. I should have that on the front line maybe tomorrow or Friday. Walking towards the back, there's one on my front line already. Actually, this one I've had. This is the one, if you watched last week, I had to completely disassemble everything on the interior, yank it out, clean it, put it back in. This one is almost identical. It's actually a year newer. This is a 2011. That one's a 2010. This one has leather, DVD, everything. This one is cloth. It's still an LT just like that one is, but it's got, I think, a couple less miles. I don't remember my mileage on it. It's like 120 something thousand miles. This is a vehicle that'll sell probably around 7,500 or so, 7 easy, 7,500. I'll probably price it at 7,950, see what happens. This is the Jeep that I used as the donor for my computer. Walking around the back, let's see. Everything back here is pretty similar. I still have my Volvo. I have to put the headliner back in. Actually, the Explorer right here, I'm gonna be experimenting with and I'm forgetting the name of the actual part. My transmission between second and third gear is over revving, and then it won't go into gear. If you let off just right, or if you accelerate really hard, it'll jam itself into gear, kind of bang a little bit. There is and I'm forgetting the name of the part. It's a clutch solenoid. I'm probably saying that wrong. Either way, there's a part on the side of the transmission I can pull out, replace this little valve. It's supposed to take care of the issue. I found this on YouTube, so if you're watching this on YouTube, hopefully I can be as helpful to you as this vehicle, or as this video on the vehicle I was watching was to me. So I'll be experimenting with that. I'll let you know next week how that goes. I might be tackling that on Friday. Today's Wednesday, so possibly Friday. We might know something on how that went. I'm gonna walk through here. Actually, my son's in here, and he's using my daughter's pink blanket. So this is Jaron. He was home from school sick today. Looks like we're watching, this is Octonauts? Cool, watching Octonauts. So I was attempting to clean my desk a little today. Got my trash can and all handy. That hasn't gone so well. Not one of my strong points. Walking in the back, this is another one that I bought this past Friday. This is a 2013 Chevrolet Equinox. That means I have 3 Equinoxes right now, which normally I try not to have multiples of the same vehicle, except for Wranglers because they just do really well. But I've done so well with these that I'm gonna triple up on them. This is a 2013 with 120 something thousand miles, I forget. It's pretty clean on the inside. Only thing that I need as of right now is a tire in the front. I might be able to show you that in a second. This one's pretty clean. Really doesn't even need a detail, maybe just a quick wipe down. It's cloth. This is something that I'll probably ask $89.50. I just sold one almost identical to this, except this one's a little nicer. It was an LS, this is an LT. I sold it for $8,800 2 weeks ago. This one has about the same miles, and it's an LT, and honestly, it's a little prettier than the other one I had. I actually drove this last night. I'm not an NC State fan, but someone gave my wife and I some free NC State tickets. So we drove this vehicle. If you're familiar with NC State, this is their color. And on the way there, our steering wheel was vibrating all over the place. And I was like, I kind of chanced it. We drove there, we drove back. When I got to the shop this morning, I put it on the lift to see what was going on. And I realized I should not have chanced it. Let's see if I can show you my tire here. We have some metal, if I can zoom in. Well, my lighting's not going to be good. If you could see where I'm pointing right now, this tire has completely separated itself from the actual tire. There's metal here and there's a whole gap I can stick my finger in and like separate the tire. So we were very fortunate we didn't get stuck on the side of the road, have a blowout, or cause an accident. I felt really stupid this morning when I actually lifted this up and saw it. So next time I will be checking before I get in the car and drive it on the highway at 80 miles an hour. So we were very fortunate last night we didn't cause an accident. This is another one that I picked up. This is a 2007 Jeep Commander. I've done pretty well with these in the past. You want to be careful with some of these 4.7s. Last one I actually thought had a head gasket issue, which is something that they have been known for. Actually had a bad water pump, so I was fortunate on that one. But this one is leather. Does not have DVD, but it does have the sunroof up front as well as the 2 in the back. It's 3rd row. It's fairly clean. It's probably gonna need a steam clean. I'll have to fix this seat here. I'll either take it to my upholstery guy or try to rig something up. I haven't decided yet. It's enough where I can join it, but I'm not sure how that's gonna work out. I've sewed these in the past. That's not ideal with leather. I've used patches in the past, but that's not ideal in a seam. My upholstery guy probably would fix this for under $100, so it might just be worth doing that. I just have to pull the seat out, take it over to him. But let's see, this one should be ready today being Wednesday. I would love to have it on the front line Friday. We'll see. You can see it has 143,000 miles. This was actually the first vehicle in the auction Friday. I actually didn't know it was going to be there, and I broke one of my rules. One of my rules when I'm at an auction is I always drive the vehicles ahead of time, scan them with my computer. This one ran through, it was green light. I actually have someone in mind that might be interested in this. So it was green light, which means if there's anything over and above $500 that I find after the auction, I can do a test drive, I can take on the highway, all that good stuff. If there's anything more than $500, I can bring it back and essentially get out of the sale. Also, I did have a chance to scan it with my computer. I saw that there were 0 readiness monitors pending, which means no one had reset the computer, which meant no one had cleared a check engine light. There were no codes found. Actually, right now, I'm currently inspecting this on my computer. Actually show you what it looks like here in North Carolina. This is an emissions machine. And I was actually in the middle of this, honestly forgot it was on my computer. As you can see, I'm to the emissions side, or I'm actually on the safety side. So it gives me a list of everything that I have to check here in North Carolina. So we've got headlights, parking lights, tail lights, brake lights, horn, rearview mirrors. I've already checked all of this. So all that happens for me is that I come in here, I hit pass, enter, pass, enter, pass, enter, and I go all the way down the list and check off everything that it has as I've checked it. We have to lift up the tires off the ground, make sure everything's good there. And then we do the emission side, which is where we plug in this scanner here. This goes in the OBD2 port. We have this little thing in the middle, which I actually don't know what it does. All I know is I push this button, it communicates with the computer, it tells me that it's good to go, and it's nice and easy. For me, on every inspection that I do, if you're in a state that has emissions inspections, you know that normally they fall around 30 bucks. Some states are actually free, some states, you know, it might be more, I'm not sure. I'd be curious if you're watching this video and your state is more, how much more? I know South Carolina doesn't have inspections, but so for me, a sticker, which is what they still call them, is $6.25. They don't actually put stickers on the windshields anymore, but when we buy them, they call them stickers or e-authorizations. So they cost me $6.25. When someone comes into my shop and has me inspected, I charge them $30, which means I make $23.75, which means doing my own inspections, I save $23.75 per vehicle. I also have a dealership beside me that I do all their inspections, so it more than pays for itself to have that machine. I actually only paid 500 bucks for the machine. I bought it on a government auction website, govdeals.com. I think it's it's just govdeals.com. You can see all kinds of stuff the government's getting rid of, school systems, all that stuff. They even have vehicles, which I've not seen to beat the best deals, but I found this machine there for 500 bucks. Had the company, which was Bosch, come out and program in something for me, which cost like 175, and I was up and running. I did have to buy I'll show you over here. I did have to buy a headlight aimer, which is this here, and you have to have a creeper, which is not a weird middle-aged man that lives in your basement, but a thing that you roll around on the floor on, which is this deal over here. Where are we at? So in North Carolina, you have to have one of these. You have to have a window tint meter to check, which is this right here. If you're going to do vehicles with window tint in North Carolina, they have to be above 32% visibility. And there was something else. You have to have a tire tread depth gauge, which I also have. You have to take a class, and then you can do this for your own vehicles, and you can charge the public. So we have a sign out front. Someone comes in 15 minutes, I can make 23 bucks. So that's a nice little thing to do during the day. But so that's been my day today. I'm prepping all of these vehicles, getting them ready to sell. This one hopefully will be ready once I can get a tire on it. I actually got a tire right there I'm probably going to use for it that a transfer case is in the middle of it right now. So that's been my day. I would love, if you're interested in videos like this, for you to subscribe to the channel so I can share more of my insights with you. Otherwise, have a great night. I'll see you in the next video.